I was just so I think actually inside that discussion, and thank you folks, because it's not always easy to have a robust discussion, but I think two pieces came out, which is one is psychographics versus demographics. And I absolutely agree with Olympia. I can think of some incredibly disengaged teenagers who really don't care, and some incredibly engaged teenagers who really, really do. And the same thing with folks of a certain age and vintage as well. And so I think that's spot on. And the question mark is then how
James, in respect of that, I just want to share with Mark. James has been involved with climate action in Australia, as a climate salad in Australia, and they've really engaged. We had a day's climate action day where there were, I think, maybe 1,000, or it felt like 1,000 people sub 25 who were engaged and bringing innovations and doing a whole heap of stuff, a lot, and there is a movement. And the thing is not so much how can we create that, in my view, with this group, how can we engage with them and actually help them make a difference, or them help us make a difference.
I think that's exactly right. The second point I was going to make is the gentleman, I'm sorry, who was speaking before, his point about lending a platform to these folks. And you do have to curate, and so there's absolutely education support for people of whatever age and stripe who wish to be active and part of the solutions. And then there's the ability of people who maybe don't have that ability or aren't in that space. They can lend a platform, they can assist, and they can support, and that support can take many forms. But absolutely, that's the right combination. I think the best organization that I've personally bumped into here in Australia for that is actually, it's around female venture capital participation, and it's called Heads Over Heels. Wonderful bunch of people. They're very, very strict on how they curate the teams. They choose 3 scale-ups, not startups, per session. And it's basically a room full of C-suite, CEOs, high net worth, Orders of Australia type winners. And they basically lend their Rolodexes to help these folks achieve a greater impact and scale. It's very noticeable to me that we don't have that in climate at this moment, or at least if it exists, I don't see it. Well, the energy level
maybe that's a project that this group can help facilitate.
Absolutely, and I'm very happy to make the intros, and I think it's a rinse and repeat model. They've done incredibly well at creating a movement and an organization around it, and they've had a very significant and direct impact on the success of those organizations.
I can't see Jane's face, but I can see her nodding. Am I right, Jane?
Sorry, you're talking to me?
Yes.
Okay, I can't distinguish between Jane and James here. I agree. We're having this workshop in Cairns in April to connect First Nations communities with Pacific communities over issues of mutual concern, and to try and get some tangible proposals, practical proposals that can be taken through the Pacific Urban Forum, Asia Pacific Urban Forum, into COP28, if that's the number we're up to. So I'm focusing on what we can actually do and getting real action. But I mean, talk about what other people should be doing, I think is nonsense. If there are some real networks doing real stuff, then I'm very excited about that, and would love to connect with them. So.